like 2016 all over again. It was the Ramsey and Bale show after they weathered the early storm.
We're back for another episode of Gulf News Kicking Back. I'm Imran and I'm delighted to again be joined by Matt, Shamsir and Sahil. Right, let's quickly bring you up to date with what's been going on at the Euros. This is a serious story. A bomb was discovered close to the Stadio Olimpico ahead of the Italy and Switzerland game last night and destroyed in a controlled explosion. It's been reported that the bomb was inside a car parked near to the arena. That's a frightening story. Moving on, UEFA have suspended Austria forward Marko Arnautovic for one match after he was found guilty of insulting another player in Sunday's game against North Macedonia. And finally, after Ronaldo made headlines by removing bottles of Coca-Cola at a news conference, Paul Pogba, who as we know doesn't drink due to his Muslim faith, removed a bottle of beer from his table when talking to the press after France beat Germany, and now that has gone viral. Good man. Okay, to yesterday's games. Russia secured a hard-fought win against Finland. The result leaves them both on 3 points. They've both got a real chance to qualify for the last 16. Miranchuk got the only goal with a really neat finish into the top corner. He was surrounded by 4 or 5 defenders, but he managed to get the shot away. That was the only real talking point. So let's move on to the next game, which was Turkey against Wales. That was evenly matched for the first 10-15 minutes, and Turkey had a big chance with, I think it was Ayhan had a header, was cleared off the line, and then Under saw his volley saved, and then Wales began to take over, didn't they? What do you think, Matt? How do you think they played yesterday?
It was like 2016 all over again. It was the Ramsey and Bale show after they weathered the early storm. They just after a fairly anonymous first game, they decided to really show that they can still contribute towards this Wales team, and really turned it on. Turkey are no mugs, and they managed to put out a pretty glossy scoreline in the end.
Yeah, it was a proper Bale Ramsey show. It was a brilliant execution because those two guys were absolute best. And if Bale wouldn't have missed that penalty, he could have ended his drought with the Welsh side, which lasts for like 2 years. But he was instrumental for that victory. He was sensational. He was pinging passes with his eyes closed. It was brilliant to see. And if Ramsey was a little more clinical, Bale could have had more assists, and Ramsey could have added more goals to his tally. But Wales were brilliant, and Turkey looked really jaded because this was not the Turkey that we have seen in the qualifiers. They had only conceded like 3 goals. When you look at that Turkish side with Demiral and Soyuncu at the back, you're expecting a lot more defensive stability from them. It's a manager's dream to have these two in the heart of the defense. But then you have Çalhanoğlu and Burak Yılmaz. We thought that they could be the duo to watch in the tournament, and but they were hardly seen in the match, even in the last match. I mean, against Wales also, they were like absolutely, I don't know what happened to Turkey. Maybe it could be the expectation. When the expectations were there on the shoulder, they couldn't just perform. But whereas Welsh were really scintillating, and it was completely underwhelming from the Turks.
To be honest, at the start of the tournament, I thought Turkey could have topped the group. Like I had predicted in the first game, Turkey would beat Italy. If they cannot beat Italy, how will they beat Wales? Like Wales also killed them right now, 2-0. As Shamsir said, it was a Ramsey show. Aaron Ramsey could have had a hat-trick himself. Gareth Bale could have had more assists. And if Gareth Bale had not missed this penalty, it could have been hailed as one of the best individual performances of the Euro so far. Like how Paul Pogba had got it. Gareth Bale, if he just scored that goal, it could have been really fantastic. But, I feel like Wales' unsung hero so far has been Danny Ward, the goalkeeper. He made some good saves against Switzerland. He made some decent saves against Turkey, like important saves. Turkey were not bad. They had a few chances, but obviously they didn't get any goals. So we have to give credit to Danny Ward, who hasn't played a league game since 2017. Am I right there, Imran?
You might be right. Yeah, he had a terrific game. He kept them out. He made some really good saves. But to just come back to Ramsey there, he's now scored more goals than Mark Hughes. He's got 17. That's incredible for a midfield player.
He's really come on. I mean, obviously, he had such a great expectations at a younger age, and then he had a wee bit of a time in the wilderness. But whenever it comes to a big tournament, he just always seems to click for Wales. He just seems to know what he has to do, and I think personally it's great to see him back, and hopefully he can go on and have a much better season on the back of this next year.
We mentioned Ward making some good saves, but Yilmaz had a glorious chance in that second half. He smashed it high over the bar, and then Ramsey had another shot on the other side. It was an end-to-end kind of a game. But let's get to the penalty. It clearly was one, but as soon as Bale put the ball down, when he stepped back, the long pause between the actual taking the shot and then his run-up, the way he started up to it, I just felt he was never going to score. In the end, he blazed it high over the bar. I think the ball's still on the way to the moon. It was a really poor penalty, but overall, he had a really good game, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, Gareth was. Sorry, go ahead, Shamsi.
Yeah, he did. Apart from that miss, it was a lazy penalty, like you have mentioned. But apart from that, the two assists were absolutely brilliant, especially the second one, the layoff to Connor Roberts. And it was not only a moment of brilliance, it was a moment of inspiration, because that just absolutely killed the game. And but he could have killed the game with that penalty score. But these are the big players, like these guys. They just, even if they misses a glaring opportunity like what Ronaldo did the other day, even if they miss it, like these guys never buckle down. That's what makes them world-class players. And Bale showed why he's one of the world-class players around the world right now.
Only.
Yeah,
I
you've got
wanted
to
to
have an
say one point
ability.
about Aaron Ramsey. Like you're saying that he's now equal with Mark Hughes' record of 17 goals. There's a reason. Here in Wales, he feels like a leader because, let's be honest, there are not many big stars in Wales. And Aaron Ramsey is now currently in Juventus. He's not hailed as a big star there. Right, guys? So here to Wales, he's a leader with Gareth Bale. That's why he steps up and he plays well for his country. So we have to give credit for him for that, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he knows he has to carry a certain amount of weight and responsibility with this team, and maybe he's guilty of becoming a little bit anonymous because he knows that responsibility is off his shoulders at club level. But yeah, no, I do agree that he knows he has to step up, and he also knows that the whole nation that he loves is watching him as well, so he has to deliver.
And
Yeah.
apart from Ramsey, we have to mention one more name. He was absolutely brilliant in that game. Who was Daniel James? He's a Manchester United player. He had a very underwhelming opening game, but this game he was brilliant through that left flank, especially when the team needed a relief. He was running with the ball. He was hithering and tithering down that touchline. It was absolutely brilliant to watch him, and we have to give him credit.
Yeah, you're right, Shamsi. He showed us his blistering pace in that second half when he went on to the counter-attack. He did everything right, but then his cross into the box was just too high for Wilson. But then, like you say, Wales, they sealed it in injury time. Bale making up for his penalty error by ghosting past a couple of defenders, putting the ball in. I think it was Roberts who got the second, and it was game over. But Sahil, I just want to go back to you. I remember you were saying before that these guys, Wales, are your dark horse to get to, to progress. Do you think they can really progress and get to another semi-final, do you think?
I don't think so they'll reach the semi-finals, but I just like them since the 2016 Euros. They have a decent squad, but I don't think so they'll make it. Come on, let's be honest, there are way better teams there out there in the Euros. So, but I'm a huge fan of Gareth Bale since I was a kid. That's why I just said it. But I was very impressed with their performance yesterday after that Swiss performance. I was stunned. They played brilliant football. So, but
I think we were
they are
all
the
quite.
dark.
You might be right. So they could still do well. It showed Ramsey and Bale are coming into it a bit more. They've got James, they've got other good players. But I think, me personally speaking, I was quite disappointed. I think Shamsi, you mentioned it on Turkey's performance. That was another. It wasn't a very attacking display. We never really saw much of Yilmaz or Under started the game, but he really couldn't get himself into it either. What do you think of how do you think they played yesterday?
You can see Çalhanoğlu. We have praised a lot about Çalhanoğlu and Yilmaz. That partnership could take a blistering thing about this tournament. But what happened to them? Çalhanoğlu has been the most creative player in the Europe, having created most chances among any other player in the world in Europe. But we hardly seen him in the game. Turkish side looked like a disjointed side. They were finding it difficult to even ping passes. I don't know. It could be the pressure, nothing else, because everyone was See, for every other guy, they were the dark horses, and they couldn't take it. But the hopes are not died yet. But the 5 goals they have conceded, that could be a huge blow for them, even if they win against Switzerland in the last game.
Yeah, they look as though they've got a bit of trouble ahead, and they might actually not get out of a group that they really would have had high hopes of finishing at least second in. Now that they've got to deliver a probably fairly get at least a few goals in this last game, and it's not going to be an easy task.
They're on a -5 goal difference now, so we know that the third best team can still qualify, even if they were to win their last game. It looks unlikely now. I think they've been quite a disappointment. They've had a disappointing tournament so far. Anyway, let's move on to Italy against Switzerland. This one finished 3-0 again to the Italians. Before the game, they were belting out the national anthem. It was brilliant to see. And they're clearly taking this tournament very seriously. Mancini's side, they were really impressive in their opener, and they were really good again last night. In fact, the more you see them, the more you feel convinced that they're going to go all the way. They could win the entire thing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that everybody's been raving about how Mancini has brought together this team without a superstar. I think he's got 11 superstars. You know, as I said yesterday, this is a team that knows how to gel. And that a team can't work if you've got guys not working as part of a team. And they all seem to know where everybody else is on that pitch at all times. There's just such a mutual awareness. They're like a colony of ants. They just seem to know everything about everyone, and they just ooze confidence. They've got such trust in each other. From the goalkeeper through to the back four, they're like one solid unit. The midfield and the strikers just move as one as well, and they're a joy to watch.
The Azuris, man, they were at the box seat even in the very first minute of the game against Switzerland. They were pinging passes with a lot of swagger and a bit of arrogance and fluidity, flair, everything that could associate with football. You know, they were that confident. And arguably, when you look at that, if you keep the French midfield aside, the Locatellis, Jorginhos, and Barrella's midfield is the best in the current competition. You know, they were absolutely balanced. You know, and when you look forward, you have a talismanic figure in Insigne, who is with his improvisation and uncertainty. It's a joy to watch. I couldn't take the eyes of this Italian side. You know, they're playing some brilliant possession football. Man, Roberto Mancini. Matty might be knowing, being a Manchester City fan. You know, the 4-3-3 that he deploys is an absolute joy to watch.
Surely, you know, I remember Shamsher talking about, you know, Locatelli in the start, like, because I have not seen much of Serie A football. Now I can understand what Shamsher was saying. He is a fantastic player. You know, maybe, yes, not only because he scored 2 goals, overall performance we have to look at for a midfielder. He was outstanding. And this Italian team, oh my God, each individual was brilliant. But will they worry about Chiellini coming off? I don't know. You know, Acerbi had come on for them, and he played brilliantly again. So is it a worry though? Like maybe.
Yeah, good point. So it looked like it might have been a thigh strain, or if it's a hamstring, that could rule him out. Not too sure what he actually had. But let's just talk about that first goal. I mean, we may have seen the pass of the tournament. You mentioned Locatelli there. He started the move with a superb, with an incredible volley out wide to Berardi. It was such a great pass. And then the cross came into the box and he was on hand to finish off the move. But just how good was that pass?
When you talk about the passing of Locatelli, oh my goodness, you know, you have to see the stats about Locatelli, who has been racking up passes in the Serie A for the last season, because I have been noticing this guy for Sassuolo. All the big teams are looking to sign this guy because he can pick up a pass, because he has scored. He has, has that eye of a pass in him. But you wouldn't see that this guy, when you play for Sassuolo, you wouldn't think this guy can score a lot of goals, but he can pick up passes. That we have seen. That pass to Berardi was outrageous, man. It was unbelievable. And then from Berardi, he made that dancing around that right hand side, and then put the ball back into the box. And look who was there after making like 50, 60 yards stride. It was Locatelli who had a tap in. That was incredible. What a brilliant box to box midfield play from the boy. And and this Italian side, man, it's an absolute joy to watch. I can't say enough of these guys. We can keep on talking about these guys for forever.
Some sheer steam.
Locatelli's pass was so good. That's why he continued his run. He was like, I'm getting on the end of that. I'm going to make a goal of the season contender right here. But yeah, no, he's definitely going to be on for bigger and better things soon.
Yeah, it was such a great ball out wide, and like you say, he continued his run into the box. Some players would have just hit that pass and just sat back and just admired it, but he, had the sense to venture forward, get into the box, and he was at the end of that cross there. Let's speak about their defence now, because we know we've been impressed by their attack. They've got 6 goals already, but Donnarumma, the goalkeeper, he didn't have a save to make in the first half. Italy was so dominant, but when he was called into action, he made a very good save in that second half. He ensured that they got their 10th consecutive clean sheet now. Look, they score goals, they create a lot of chances, and they don't concede any. They've got to go all the way, surely.
All the way is a tricky one in this competition. As we said before it started, it's one of the most wide open that we've had in a long, long time. There's so many contenders. Maybe Germany have been found out a little bit by France, but Belgium, we could be saying the same about them tomorrow if they go and score another 3 or 4 goals. France, they've got at least another 4 gears left in them. And England have got all this home advantage, and they've already got that first crucial win in the bag. It's way too early to say all the way, but they're definitely going to be in the running. Nah, they're not going to win it.
No?
There you go.
Scotland?
I never heard of them.
This Azzurri side is both relentless in attack and defense. That makes them, completely different from any other side apart from France. And like what Imran mentioned, they haven't conceded a goal in 10 games, and it's like a 10 shutouts with scoring like 31 goals. That's incredible. And they could, like we have mentioned earlier, they could be breaking a record which has been set like 100 years ago, which is the 30 games unbeaten run. So all these things are there inside, and these guys are relentless, man. Absolute joy to watch.
I'm sure we wouldn't mind an England versus Italy final, right, guys?
Ooh, that would be a tasty game. That would be good.
They can definitely make it. Come on.
But one thing we have to make out, like what Sahil mentioned, Cellini's miss is going to be a massive one for them, because not as a player alone, as a leader, I think he's going to be a major miss. Hopefully, he's not out for long ago, because he can take rest for the next game. And if his hammy is good enough, he can come out and play for the knockout stages.
Yeah, it was a worry for them.
Sorry, I'm just going to say he's one of the veterans of that team now, and I know that Mancini won't be relying on these guys all the time, because things like this can happen. So I know that he'll have a plan B and a plan C of who's going to slot right into that position.
Yeah, for sure. He was having a really rock solid game. He actually scored a goal. It was disallowed for offside. Do you think that was a handball? He jumped up in the air. It looked like Xhaka pushed his hand onto the ball. Anyway, it was ruled out. But then
it was a handball because it led up to the goal. So it's a rule in VAR. Like if it touches your hand and it ends up in the goal, it's not counted. It's been there for a while now. Very bad rule.
But I absolutely despise that rule, man. It was completely unintentional. Completely unintentional. What he could do with that?
Nothing.
But that's a rule.
To head the ball, and I think gets a shove in the back from Xhaka, so his arm goes up and the ball hits him on the arm, and anyway he came off injured. But then Locatelli got his second of the night, 20-yard strike. It was a fabulous hit, and then Immobile got a long-range strike as well for the third. That put the icing on the cake for Italy. It was a really good goal, and he deserved it for his performance, didn't he?
Immobile. Yeah. He's one of these unsung heroes sometimes in domestic football. He's there while other people take all the plaudits, but his goal per game ratio is still excellent. And again, he's quite happy to be the non-Cristiano Ronaldo, get on with his job, do his things, stay out of the limelight, and just get the job done. and that's exactly what he did again. You know, he will say, "Yeah, maybe man of the match, but I'm just looking forward to the next game, not wanting an open top bus." You know, he's a nice grounded player, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
Workmanlike, I think, isn't he? He's like quite
Yes.
a workmanlike player.
Yeah, he is.
Nice.
He is. See, the other thing that favored for Italy was the game was played in Rome, and the home crowd was absolutely incredible once again. And like you have mentioned, Immobile, these guys for these guys, you know, Immobiles and Locatellis and all these guys, it's a big stage for them to perform, and they're delivering for the Azuris.
All right, let's wrap things up. We've got 3 more games for today. Predictions, as always. This is quite exciting to do. Denmark against Belgium. I'm going to go with Belgium. What do you guys think?
It's not exactly the toughest one to call.
Come on, Denmark.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sahil's going for Denmark. Okay.
Oh, that's incredible. I think even I want to see a good performance from Denmark. Especially, they have decided to take a minute applause after 10 minutes, showing in respect to the guy Eriksen, which is a good sign. But I think Belgium will have too much.
Is Kevin De Bruyne fit to play?
De Bruyne might not play, but he might come on in the second half. But Axel Witsel is going to be playing, and that's going to be a good boost for these guys. And I think Belgium will be too strong for Denmark.
I think if Finland can beat them 1-0, Belgium are going to they'll wait for the 10-minute applause and have their bit of respect for Eriksen. Then they'll go, right, lads, let's have some fun. 3-0, 4-0.
But Denmark, with that loss against Finland, everything is tough for them now. I had them as my dark horses apart from the Italy side, and if that result was in their favor, they could have progressed in the tournament. But that loss against Finland could prove to be very vital for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, their tournament's in a bit of a mess. Unfortunately, we know the reason why. But yeah, I think Belgium's going to be a bit too strong for them. What about Ukraine and North Macedonia? I'm going to go with Ukraine.
Can't say I know a lot about these teams. I think going on the fighting spirit that North Macedonia scored, I don't think that Ukraine will have it all their own way. But the fact that the way that they fought back against the Dutch in the Netherlands, Belgium, in the opening match when they were 2-0 down, back to 2-2, and I think that they've got the shooting boots on, and I think that the Ukraine will be too strong for them once again, and North Macedonia will be glorious in defeat once again.
For Ukraine, I think both these teams, you know, they might be feeling hard done by the last games because Ukraine lost the game pretty last minute of the game, and North Macedonia they lost that game in the last 10 minutes of the game. So these two sides would like to show a reaction, but I think Ukraine with the likes of Malinovskis and Yarmolenkos and Zinchenko's and Yaremchuk's, these guys will be too strong for the North Macedonians. I think Shevchenko's flair, brave side is gonna absolutely go for a hiding against North Macedonia. I think it'll be a 3-0 or a 4-0 for Ukraine.
Oof.
I definitely have to go for Ukraine. Like, no reason why. I'm just being honest here. I got to go for Ukraine.
I think we're all agreed there. What about Netherlands against Austria? That could be an interesting game. I'm going to say I still think Netherlands. I think they'll be wary though. I mean, we know about their defense. They were 2-0 up against Ukraine in the last game, and they managed to pull it back to 2-2 before Dumfries got the winner. So they can score, but they can concede as well. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Netherlands.
Yes, sorry about that. I was getting my Belgium and my Netherlands mixed up there. I just couldn't recall which one it was. I think Netherlands look to be in their stride as well, and they've shown that they've got that fighting spirit. Again, they might be missing a couple of guys, but they should be comfortable winners and then be looking forward to the last 16.
A game involving Netherlands is going to produce a lot of goals because last 6 games where Netherlands have been involved, there have been 27 goals where they have conceded 8. And I don't think Frank de Boer is going to change his system or style of play. So there'll be goals in this game, and it could be a score draw or a Netherlands win.
I gotta go for the Dutch there. I like them since a long time, and I'll be supporting them. Like, so definitely they should get the better of Austria, and even Marko Arnautovic is ruled out. So I think it will be a big loss. But yeah, the Dutch have to win. Look at that midfield. So come on.
And they have one positive news about Matthias Delete is going to come back, which is
Yeah.
a big news for the Dutch side. He could provide that solidity in the defense.
Huge addition.
Yeah, that's what they need.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see how all those games go today. That's all from us for today. Be sure to log into gulfnews.com for all the latest news, and we'll catch you tomorrow. See you then.